everybody, it's me again, Angela. I'm back to do the third part in this series for the pages that I did for Carol. So far in part one we did the front cover, and the second part we did this section here. So I'm going to tackle the next and hopefully the last in this little series, and let's tackle this very next page over here. I'd just like to take this opportunity again just to say thank you so much, everybody. You've been so wonderful with your kind words and your wonderful support. I really couldn't do this without you, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you so much for all the time you spend watching my videos and commenting. I love replying and reading all of those lovely messages. Okay, so let's move on. Right, we're going to tackle this bit here, and the first little piece I'm going to do is the little pocket that I put over here. So if I show you the example in Carol's one, you can see that I had this pocket over here from this torn piece of nearly said fabric, digital, and then I put a little edge border over there. So I'm going to tear that out, and then we will look at how I put that on there. So let's just put that aside. So to do that for this page, I've got an A5 size, so I printed 2 to a page of this apothecary page that I got from Antique Paperie. I'll put the link up for the kit that this is associated with. I think it's Sophia's Garden, if I'm not mistaken, but I will put that up there for you. And now we just need to work out the size that we want for this. So I am going to eyeball it. So I'm going to use my pencil just because it's easy to rub out, and I want to have some kind of a guide. And I want to end it there, and I want to start it sort of half more or less about 40% of the page. So to do that, I think what we should do first of all, because I've torn that edge and we want to match those up, I'd grab hold of my ruler again and just tear a piece off the one edge. So I'm going to do it this way because you get a nicer finish. So let's just do that quickly. How are you all faring at the moment? I hope everybody's staying safe and able to get everything that they need from the supermarkets and everything. I know that is a challenge for a lot of us. I know that there's a number of items that are not available, and that's really sad, especially if you've got family members that you know, really exist based on some of those items like wipes and sterile sterile items just to survive. So we have had a lot of panic buying going on here, but I think they're trying to sort that out so that everybody who really needs it can get it, as well as the rest of us. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've torn those two sides now, and I think I'm going to go with sort of this area here. I'm just giving it a rough indication with my pencil. If you can see, I've drawn a bit of a line there just as a guide, and now we can always rub it out afterwards. I'm just going to use my fingers and tear along that line, which is difficult when you come to the middle. So where am I now? Right, so we're going over like that, and I need to come down over there. So I'm quite happy with that. Let's see if that's going to fit. Yep, that's going to fit. So that's all right there. So we keep that piece. Now what we need to do is we can easily rub out that pencil line. What the little bits of it that you can see, and there it's gone. Right, and now I'm going to get hold of my fabric. So this is a very soft tulle. I can show you. It's a lovely seafoam green aqua blue color, and I got this from Shar Fisher. So thank you, Shar. I really love this. It's such a beautiful color and so soft. Thank you. She gifted this to me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do like we do with paper and make a bit of a ruffle. So you're just pleating it and stitching it. So that's what I'm going to do there. You could do that by hand as well if you don't have a sewing machine, so that's also an option. But before I do that, I just want to ink that edge over there. So I've got my little dauber here, and I'm just going to go over the edge just a bit, so it just has a little bit of a finish. So as you can see, it's not very dark. Okay, so that will suffice. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that ruffle from that corner, this side here, along there, and I'm going to sew it down. It might be a bit uneven, but I know from previous I just trim it how I want it afterwards, so don't worry about how high or low and evenness is concerned. So I will be back with you after I've done that. So we're just going to fold it like that and keep moving it along the paper and stitching it. Alright, so hold that there and just keep doing that as you go and move that along the paper and stitch it. It is a bit fiddly, but you'll get the hang of it, I'm sure. Right, so let's start. Alright, so there we go. I've sewn that on there, if you can see. And now I'm just going to trim it up and make it even. So, oh, I've nicked a little bit there, so I'll just have to sew that a bit quickly. Oops, there you go. It happens. That's better. Right, so that's all sewn down, and it can be a bit fiddly and tricky, but it all works out in the end. So now all I need to do is just make sure that I want it to be pretty even in height. So I'm just trimming it like a hedge, just to make sure that we've got it pretty even all over. All right, so there we have it. If you look at that now, that's pretty even. All right, so that's all I did with that. So what we need to do now is we need to stitch the rest of this around there, and then we can stick that down on that page. So let me do that really quickly. Okay, so just trim off the threads like that. So there we have it, stitched all around. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to be able to stick down the glue along there and along there, and a little bit up there as well. So I'm going to do that on those sides. So hold it on the side you're not going to glue, and we'll do that quickly. So you can also glue down some of these other bits if you want, if that suits, but really it's not necessary. So just put a little glue along. I usually do it along the stitch line. Okay, and then take it on the side that doesn't have the glue on and place it to the edge there and the edge there. So those two sides are sorted, right? And then hold that down just for a minute till the glue's set. It gives a little bit more support when you do this bit up here, just to hold it flat rather than to gape. So there we go, that's that bit done. So we'll want to put a little bit of decoration on here. So what I did was I have this, just cut a piece of this little snippet of lace, and it's really lovely because it's got some pearls that I've got stitched on there, excuse me. So I'm going to arrange that somehow here. And then the other thing I wanted was just a bit of a fussy cut flower. So I've just taken a fussy cut flower from one of my books. I'm going to just tuck that just to cover the end of that lace, so in a little bit of a way like that. And then I'm just going to stick one of those little blue flowers. I think I'll just put one over here. So again, from Hobbycraft, those ones I used previously. So that I'm going to just stick over there. So we've just got a little bit of a cluster there really on the side. So I mean, you can put whatever you want. That's just what I've got lying about at the moment. I've even got all sorts of bits I've kept all over the place here. All sorts of pieces. You know, I just keep them in a little container, smaller snippets. I might even add this little piece underneath here. You know, whatever you've got lying around really. All sorts of bits and pieces. Just like that to cover the end. I like the way that's bending and a bit of contrast in colour. And the whole lot together looks really cool. So I will probably put that over there. So let's get the glue. So we're going to start with putting the one at on the bottom. This is a really old piece of lace I've trimmed off something. So that one was underneath. So that goes like that. We want it a little bit more curled up. So just hold down a bit, and then we'll have this one on top. So we're doing it in layers. So let's put some glue on there. Oops. Yesterday my fingers looked awful. When I was looking, editing the video, I thought, oh my goodness, look at all the glue on my fingers. How horrific. What are you guys thinking I'm doing? You know, looked awful. So I'm sorry about that. I do get very glued fingers and inked and all sorts going on here with just the nature of it, isn't it? So I had that tucked. Oh no, I had that like that. So we're just going to press that down. So it's not going to be completely flat, but it'll do what I want it to do. And then I just had this little flower, and I'm going to just stick it over here. So put some glue down there, and we'll stick that over there. So it looks like it's all made to go together. Quite happy with that. So let me just lift that up quickly for you. There you go. Can you see that? So that's what the cluster looks like there, and it looks really nice, I think, with the various colors. So we've got that sorted. So now what I had in here is it's just really dressing up the various bits here. So the first thing was I had a piece of ephemera. So I've just printed this on a piece of parchment paper, which is like a cream color, and this was a blue. So the blue and the yellow has given it more of an aqua shade. So what we'll do here is, again, I am just going to cut this. I'm not going to tear this. So just get hold of my knife. On the other side. So this is just a digital printout, and it could have come from any one of a million places, and I have so many of them. So there you go. So that's that. So you can do all sorts to distress this. One of the things you can do is make a tear like that. Roll the sides, because you know this is meant to be from the 1930s. So this is just one of the things you can do to age something. It just gives it character, you know. So don't be afraid to give it some character, and then we're going to distress that. So what I do is I take my distress ink here, I go around the edges, and I'll do the rest when I speed it up. But this bit here, you want to ruffle that over like that, yeah, just show that that's like a tear, and I've rolled it a bit. and then go the edges. Right, I'll do the rest of the edges quickly and then you can catch up with me. So we'll just do all of that like that. You can also crush this up if you wanted a more textured thing. Screw it up a bit and then flatten it. So that also gives it some character as well. Alright, and then what I do is I fold it to the size that I want. So that would be pretty much like that. Use your bone folder. You want old creases here, so you want it to look like it's been creased and been like this for years. So, you know, we'll aid it on its journey. So just make sure that you do it really well, because it's not like it's creased yesterday. This is going to be like creased from years ago. Alright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this and do this on the creases. This is obviously not for people who, I don't want to tell you how to suck eggs. This is for people who don't know. Which I'm sure is not most of you. I'm sure most of you know how to do this. I'm just talking to myself, I think, probably. Right, so do on the creases. And make it look old. Go on the corners like that, because the corners would get dirty. You know, so, and you know, that's how it's meant to be old. So do it on the corners especially. Okay, so let's have a look at that now. So we've got a dirty corner from all this fingering and, you know, messing about with it, make it look old. We've got a tear there. And when you open it up, you've got the stain marks where the fold lines are, just to make it look old. So that's what I do. Obviously people have their ways. Again, on the corner. Okay, so there we go. We'll have it like that, and I think that looks really cool. I'm just going to, where that tear is, just going to go a bit more over the bit where the tear shines through. So that's the bit that's going to slide in there as well. And then what I had above this was another tag. So I didn't want to waste time and show you how to make another tag. I've made another tag, and here it is. So I've just laid up again scraps, put a label from Tracy Fox label on there, use some of those Tim Holtz die cuts, put some seam binding in there. Not overly happy about that seam binding. I think I might find something a bit more. Yeah, let's just put a different one in there. That's very measly, so we'll keep that for another time. Put this one in here. Like that, and then just give it more of a tail, because I thought that other one was really a bit, you know, short. So I want it to look a little bit more substantial. Right, so we've got that. That's better, bigger loops. Yeah, so there's our tag there. So I quite like that. That went in here as well. So there we go. All right, so that's the second page. So as you can see, very similar to what I have done with Carol's one, if you have a look at it. That's what we did there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the back page. So we're going to do this bit really quickly. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get a page to cover that section there quickly. So again, just put that to the side and find something that I can use for that piece. And let's just see. Decisions. Right, so I've got this page here, and I did use this the last time, so I'm not going to use that section. I'm going to use a piece that's lower so we get a different look, and then I'm going to use this to make a one-page pocket on top of that. So what I will do quickly is, again, just quickly take some measurements. I'm going to start at the bottom and use from the bottom where before I was using from the top. So let's, Abby. So there we go. So that's the one we need for the page. So again, I'm going to really quickly, I think, just go and ink this bit here. Right, so there we go. We have that page done. And now all I'm going to do is stitch around that page because we have stitched around all the others. So just give me a minute to do that quickly. Okay, so there we have it. Right, so that's the page and that's perfect. So what we can do now is we can stick that on there like that. So let's do that quickly. So this is the base. Just go to the edge like I keep saying to you. Right, I'm back. Oh, the dog. What a nightmare. My whole camera fell over. Sorry. Right, I'm back now. I tell you, there's no peace. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lie this flat because it'll be easier for me just to line that up like that. So there we go. Now, what we're going to do now is what I call the one-page pocket. So you're going to make a pocket out of one page. So, first things first, you don't need to really trim that actually. I've got, this is called Nestling from Antique Paperie. I've printed it out as one, which is on a letter size, but it's on an A4. You're not going to see these bits. We're going to glue those down. So what you want to do is, you want to turn that over and you want to first think about which side you want to have your pocket on. Now, on this one, I've got it that way around. You can have it that way around, but probably have it the other way around is probably better because this is the bit that's going to be sewn into the spine. So let's just have a go and see. So, for example, we want to have about, always makes me think really hard when I do this. We want to have about that much showing. So I want a bit of that egg bit showing. So we'll do that about there. So I'm quite happy with that. And then we'll fold that down. So that's great. And I'm still going to do it the same way, so that doesn't really help, does it? And then what I'm going to do here is we want to have a bit that's going to go this way. So you just want to fold a little bit over the edge, so you don't want to see any white. So take it right to the edge of that, like that, and then use your bone folder. Now the good thing about this is, because this sticks down onto the page, if you wanted to make this slightly narrow or something, you can do that, and you're not going to see the alternate crease. So say, for example, I wanted to take that to this level here, which I'm going to do. You can go back. You can move that crease to your new spot. So if I wanted it over there, for example, let's just check I've got it straight. I can do that, and nobody's any the wiser, so because it's underneath. And then I can go back and put this where I wanted it. So say for example, I wanted, let's just check, because I'm going to put on one of these goodies. I just want to measure that I've got the right width here. So that looks about right. So let's just line it up here, so I know I'm making it straight. So I've got it like that, right? And then we just go like that and just flatten it, right? So let's see, that's looking about right. So this should line up nicely, and that should line up perfectly, right? I know it's straight. Now it is a bit long for what we need, so we need to trim. And that's what we need to decide where we're going to do that. So, oh, that's a perfect size. So what I need to do is I'm going to have to trim. Now, I think I'm probably going to trim off the bottom. I might take a little bit off the top. I don't want to go too low here. And I like the bit of green showing through at the bottom. So it's just about gauging how you want that to look. So, trim the top off. Okay, and then we just take our pencil again and say, right, I want it to be there, and I think I'm gonna have it about there. Okay, so there we go. Let's just move that over a bit and cut through there. Okay. Right, so this is how the pocket's going to look. We'll see that nice image there. We're going to put something on there. We've got a nice pocket there. And if you glue it on 3 sides, you could have a nice pocket there as well. Now, you could turn that around if you like and have it opening that side, which is also an option. But, of course, you should have folded it slightly differently. But I'm going to go with what I had and do it like that. So, quite happy with that. And you can leave it open on this side in this case and tuck something else there. So we could do that. So that's looking pretty good, and fits perfectly for what I want. All right, so you've just got the other underneath nice green aqua bits showing through there, matching in with this color on the top. And these kits aren't related. I will put the links down. Right. Then what I'm going to do is I've got these little botanical images that come from Amity Bloom. I'll put that in the description box. I have then just backed it onto this paper, which comes from Artie Mays, one of her, I think this is the floral collage pack, I think. All right, check that for you. And I've just backed it onto that. So that's what I've done there. And that's going to go at the top over there like that. So I'm going to put that over there like that. So just want to do a little bit of inking. So I'll do this really quickly and speed this up. So alright, so there we go. That looks lovely, and I have inked up that card there. So that looks great. I'm happy with all of that. I like that little flower sticking out there. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm just going to have a little stitch around the edge there, and then I'm going to stitch across there, and then we'll be able to stitch right around the edge there. So I'll meet you back here in a few. the one. Right, so over here I just want to glue this first before I stitch this. So what I do here is just want to glue this bit down here and this bit, this lip here. So there we go. So we just put that down there, and then that down there. Right, now I'm going to just stitch first of all down here. So let's do that. Alright, so I've done that bit over there. So now you can close that up and you are ready now to stitch the whole border. So let's do that quickly. We are finished with the sewing, I hope. Okay, so now we've got our pocket all nicely inked up and stitched, and now we want to put it together. So we want to glue that down there. So let's get that down first of all. So put some glue on, a good glue that's going to hold really well. So I wouldn't say press stick, glue stick. So stick that down. Yep, and that looks about straight. Oops, all the threads. I keep all those threads. Yeah, I keep it all. Okay, so we've got that nicely stuck down. And then what I want to do is, I want to put I had a nice word here. So I used a piece of cheesecloth. So here's just a little piece I've got lying about there on the lid. So I'm just going to open that up a bit, make it a little bit more, you know, sparse. So we do that. I don't think I need quite as much as this, so I'll just take that end bit off like that, pull it a little bit longer. That looks about right. And then I had that stuck down over here like that, and then I had a word, happiness word somewhere. Gosh, I've lost stuff already. What have I done with that now? So you're trying to get myself organized and now I've lost things. That's just ridiculous. Okay. Alright, so we'll just have to find another one. So I had these that I copy and pasted from my Calico Collage kit. I think this was to do with dragonflies, I think. So let's cut that out. Okay, so that's what we had there. And then just do that quickly. And then we're going to stick that on to onto the cheesecloth, or cheesecloth. So we'll just drape that over there. I do it like this upside down so I can see where I want it and spread it properly before I then stick it onto the page. And then this part does become tricky and sticky, but it's all good. And then we turn it over and put that where we want it. So I'm going to have it here. That looks good. And I will just put a little bit of this above, just so that I can stick the little strands down. There we go. And then I had a little flower. So back to my little Hobbycraft flowers. and we'll have a glitzy one. Right, so just going to take that, put some more glue on, and put that in the middle like that. Right, and then all that I need to do now is, of course, put a little butterfly. So here I've got a little butterfly. I just do this to take those little white bits away. Right, and then we're going to put some glue on that and stick that on the top there, just to bring some blue to the side. And then I'm going to get my little pokey tool out in the middle in a minute, sorry. Right, so here it is. So we're just going to take one of these little pearls and stick that on there. There we go. So that's everything ready now for the pocket. So that's our one-page pocket. Now what I'm going to do is, because this is going to stick down like that, I'm going to stick glue there, there and there, and that is because this is where the spine is. So if I wanted to have a secret pocket and put a journal card there at some point, you can do that, or you could just stick the whole thing down, so it's up to you. So as always, I hold it on the side I don't want the glue, and then I put the glue on. So make sure you've got enough on these three sides, not too much. You don't want to be gluing it all flat and oozing out, but you want it to stick down. So turn it over then, and gauge where it needs to be, pretty much like that. Open up your page, because you want to be able to do this as best you can, and then hold it down on those sides where you've put the glue on, just for a little bit, like that. And this glue sets pretty well, pretty quickly. So there we go. Okay, so that looks good. I like all the stitching. Okay, so that feels really good. Right, so there we have it. Now all I need to do here is to put in some bits. So let's put the lid on that. So I have found this lovely postcard, which was gifted to me. And thank you, that's beautiful, from Canada. So that's going to go in there. That fits perfectly with the colours. So I love that. I've got this birdie darling thing. I think this comes from Tim Holtz, one of the things there. So I think I might put that behind like that. And then I've got this card, which is from Amity Bloom, from part of one of the ephemera kits I have, and I have a few of hers. So I thought that was quite nice. So that could slide in there. Let's see, maybe this way. Then I've got this one, which I'm not quite sure. This is also one of my kits, so it's not Amity Bloom. I think it's could be one of my porch prints or something like that. Not sure. It's in my stash, so that's going to go there, and that sort of brings those colors in. And then I thought I would put this ticket here. This is an Amity Bloom one, so I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to stick that in just to peek out like that. So I think that's it. Now, as I said, you could make a journal card or put another postcard and tuck it in there if you wanted to, because you've got space to do that. And that's a nice place to hide something, so I quite like that. So there we have it. There's our back page. which has really worked out nicely. We have our inner page that we've just done now with our aged piece of ephemera, and that looks nice with those stained bits there. So we've done all of that. And then this is the page we did the last time, and you just need to stick some items in there. So that's easy enough. I love how that butterfly's turned out, and that's the tag we made together. So that's that bit there. And then on the front, that's our 3-tier pocket with our tabs in the 3 spots, and that's how that looks there. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed doing that with me. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing it on a larger size and a smaller size. So go give it a go and try it for one of your journals. I'm sure you'll love it. I've thoroughly loved how it's turned out, and of course these colours are beautiful. I'll put all the links for the pages that I've used in the description box. So thank you so much, everybody. I look forward to sharing another project with you very soon. Thank you. Bye.